You don't need closure, you don't need revenge, you don't even need a goodbye. In 2025, the most powerful move a woman can make is silence. Not to punish him, but to protect your peace. And when you do it right, trust me, he'll feel it more than any scream ever could. Let's be honest. 2025 isn't the year for chasing, begging, or explaining yourself. If he disrespected your time, ignored your worth, or made you question your sanity, you don't need to clap back. You need to walk away silently. Because silence is no longer weakness. Silence triggers his obsession. Because the human mind hates a vacuum, especially when it comes to attention and validation. When you stop calling, stop texting, stop explaining yourself, he doesn't feel free. He feels abandoned by your energy. And that energy, that was his oxygen, even if he never admitted it. He got addicted to your presence, like a free subscription he thought he could cancel and restart anytime. But when you go silent, girl, you cancel him and the subscription runs out. For good. That's when the chase begins. Not because he's in love, but because he's confused. And confusion to a man is worse than rejection. Think about it. If every time he messed up, you argued, you cried, you showed him you cared, then he always knew where he stood. You gave him your location emotionally. But silence? That's turning off the GPS. Now he's lost in a desert of his own ego. And guess what? That's when obsession starts. Because we don't chase what's always available, we chase what disappears when we take it for granted. Let's take a real-life example. Imagine he sends a message that usually gets a reply within seconds. Now it's been an hour. Nothing. 2 hours. Still nothing. A day. And your chat shows last seen yesterday. That's when the mental chaos begins. Is she ignoring me? Is she with someone else? Why is she not responding? Now he's on your page. He's replaying old conversations. He's checking stories just to see a glimpse of your life. The more silent you stay, the louder your absence screams. He thought he had the upper hand. But now he's just another guy staring at a screen, waiting for your next move. But guess what? There is no next move. You already made it when you chose peace over proving yourself. Even science supports this. Dopamine, the pleasure chemical in the brain, is released not when something is received, but when it's anticipated. Your silence becomes the trigger for anticipation. Every moment he waits to hear from you. Every scroll through social media hoping to see you. Every notification he checks and it's not you. That's dopamine chaos. He becomes obsessed with the possibility of your return. Even if he doesn't deserve it. Let's say you both worked in the same office. He was used to casual glances, those coffee break smiles, that warmth in your voice when you said his name. Then one day, silence. You walk in, focused. No glance, no good morning, no emotion, just you rising. Now he's not just noticing your silence. He's haunted by it. Did I mess up? Why does she look happier? Has she moved on? That, right there, is the birth of obsession. You didn't do anything dramatic. You just removed his access. And here's the mind-blowing truth. Obsession isn't about love. It's about control, slipping away. Your silence tells him, you are no longer the center of my universe. That message hits harder than 1,000 spoken words. Because a man can argue with your voice, he can debate your texts, but your silence, he has no weapon against that. It drives him insane because it leaves room for his imagination. And a man's imagination is a dangerous place when a confident woman starts moving in silence. Now think about it like this. If you're scrolling through Netflix and a show disappears from your list, what do? You search for it. You check Google. You even ask around. Why? Because it vanished without warning. That's you. You became unavailable. You stopped explaining. You disappeared. Not physically, but emotionally. And that mystery, that's the most seductive force on earth. Not because you're playing games, but because you're done playing. Your silence makes him realize how loud your presence really was. How much you gave without asking. How much he took without noticing. And now, he notices everything. Every second you're gone. Every update he doesn't get. Every laugh you're sharing with someone else. That's when obsession turns inward and he's left haunted by the version of you he can never access again. Because what you gave freely before now costs everything. You remove his supply the moment you choose not to feed his ego anymore. And make no mistake, he was feeding. Every time you forgave too quickly. Every time you explained what he already knew. Every time you cried and came back, he got fed. Not your love, not your heart, but your energy. That was his fuel. You were his personal cheerleader, his emotional therapist, his 2 a.m. emergency contact when no one else picked up. He didn't. You showed up for him. You always gave him respect. You gave him respect. You gave him you gave, I think, you gave him, I think, you gave him, love you, he loved the access. And when you cut that off, it's like cutting the cord on a man's emotional oxygen tank. Now he's gasping. And it's not for love, it's for supply. See, every manipulative man needs a source. Someone who will listen. Who will care more than he does. Who will keep giving even when she's being emotionally starved. You were that source. And he thought it was unlimited. But when you realize your worth, when you stop showing up every time he disrespects your presence, you unplug the cord. Suddenly his power stops. That battery he charged with your loyalty, dead. That phone he used to dial into your emotions, no service. Because now, you're not his therapist, you're not his mother, you're not his rehab center. You are his energy source. Think of it like this. Imagine he's a phone that's constantly draining. His job frustrates him. His friends don't really get him. And he never worked on healing his inner voids. But you were his charger. Every time he talked to you, he felt better. Every time he dumped his negativity on you, he walked away lighter. And you walked away carrying it. That is emotional supply. But one day you realize, why am I the one doing all the heavy lifting for a man who won't even meet me halfway? So you stop, you say less, you give less, you stop saving him from his own storms. And suddenly, he's left to deal with his own emotional mess. Alone. That's when the withdrawal begins. Let's take a daily life example. Picture him waking up to no good morning text from you. No sweet, how did you sleep message. Just silence. His day feels a little off. He won't say it out loud, but he misses that dose of attention. Then lunchtime comes, no check-in from you. Evening hits, no calls, no comfort, no validation. That's when he starts realizing you weren't just texting him. You were feeding his confidence. Your love was his mirror. And now without it, he has to face his own reflection. And what he sees isn't so pretty. Or think about the way you used to comfort him after every failure. A bad meeting, a fight with a friend, a tough days on the bus ride, not with your face and your finger, but your heart and your soul. Isn't so pretty? Or think about the way you used to comfort him like it was your job. But when you cut that off, he doesn't just miss you. He misses how you made him feel about himself. You were his biggest supporter, and now he's his own biggest critic. Without you there to soften his world, life starts hitting him harder. Because now he realizes you weren't just love, you were healing disguised as affection. Now imagine a plant that's been overwatered for years. The moment the water stops, it wilts not because it's dying, but because it never learned to survive on its own. That was him. He relied on your emotional energy like sunlight, but never gave any of it back. And now that it's gone, he starts to feel the drought. He starts to panic. He starts to spiral. And the most powerful part, you didn't scream. You didn't beg. You just stopped supplying what was never appreciated. That's how you shift the dynamic. Not by fighting, but by disconnecting. Because when you remove the supply, you force him to face the truth he's been avoiding all along. He needed you way more than you ever needed him. You reclaim power without drama when you realize that your worth isn't defined by the noise you create, but by the peace you command. Too often we think power means shouting louder, making the bigger scene, or dragging others into our storms. But true power, the kind that lasts and transforms, is silent. It's calm. It's the quiet confidence that says, I don't need to prove anything to you or anyone else. When you stop chasing, stop arguing, and stop explaining, you step into a space where your value is undeniable, without the chaos of drama. Think about it like this. In a crowded room, the loudest voice isn't always the one commanding respect. Sometimes it's the one who simply stands tall and speaks with intention when needed. That's reclaiming power without drama. You become a force so steady that others don't question your presence. They just feel it. You don't have to fight for your place in his world anymore, because you've already taken back your throne in your own life. Imagine you're in a workplace meeting where tensions are high and everyone is trying to outshout each other to be heard. You choose not to get sucked into the noise. Instead, you listen, observe, and when it's your turn, you speak clearly, firmly, and confidently. No shouting, no anger, no pleading. Just pure authority in your voice. That moment, people lean in, because power without drama is magnetic. It draws respect, not resistance. And in relationships, it works the same way. When you stop reacting emotionally to every hurt and disappointment, you reclaim control. You decide when to engage and when to walk away. Not out of weakness, but out of strength. Take the example of a woman who has been hurt by a partner's lies and broken promises. Instead of sending angry texts, confronting him in public, or crying on social media, she chooses silence. She works on herself, invests in her dreams, and surrounds herself with people who lift her. That's reclaiming power without drama. She doesn't need to prove he was wrong because her life is proof. Her growth is the response. When he sees her thriving, calm, and unbothered, that's the real comeback. Drama fades in comparison to the power of quiet self-respect. Daily life gives us so many chances to choose drama or power. When a friend gossips about you, do you jump into a heated argument, or do you smile, walk away, and let their words bounce off your armor? When a colleague tries to take credit for your work, do you create a scene, or do you deliver results that no one can ignore? When a family member disrespects your boundaries, do you retaliate, or do you calmly enforce those boundaries with unwavering firmness? Power without drama is about choosing your battles wisely and winning them by not engaging in unnecessary fights. It's the difference between lighting a bonfire that burns for a night and planting a seed that grows into a towering tree. Drama burns out quickly. It leaves ashes. Power builds silently over time. It gives you roots, wings, and a voice that echoes far beyond the moment. The moment you stop reacting to his games, you stop giving him control over your emotions. You create a shield of calm strength that no drama can pierce. And the best part? This power attracts people who respect you for who you are, not who you are trying to prove yourself to be. Consider the woman who stops texting back the minute she feels disrespected. She doesn't explain why. She doesn't threaten or manipulate. She simply disappears. That disappearance speaks louder than any argument ever could. It tells him, I am not here for games. I am here for respect. That's reclaiming power without drama. It's bold. It's fearless. It's the ultimate form of self-love. In every area of life, whether it's your career, friendships, or love, you have the choice that grows into a towering tree. Drama burns out quickly. It leaves ashes. Power builds silently over time. It gives you roots, wings, and a voice that echoes far beyond the moment. The moment you stop reacting to his games, you stop giving him control over your emotions. You create a shield of calm strength that no drama can pierce. And the best part? This power attracts people who respect you for who you are, not who you are trying to prove yourself to be. Consider the woman who stops texting back the minute she feels disrespected. She doesn't explain why. She doesn't threaten or manipulate. She simply disappears. That disappearance speaks louder than any argument ever could. It tells him, I am not here for games. I am here for respect. That's reclaiming power without drama. It's bold. It's fearless. It's the ultimate form of self-love. In every area of life, whether it's your career, friendships, or love, you have the choice to make the choice. I'm here for your community. Reclaim your power without drama. You can choose to rise above the noise, silence the chaos, and shine with a confidence that doesn't need validation. When you do this, you don't just survive. You thrive. You become unstoppable. Because power without drama is not just about what you say or do. It's about who you become in the process. Mystery makes you magnetic because it taps into something primal in human nature, the irresistible pull towards the unknown. When you reveal every part of yourself, every thought, every feeling, every moment, you become predictable. And predictability breeds boredom. But when you hold back just enough, when you keep parts of your world, your thoughts, your dreams guarded, you become an enigma that draws others in without effort. People are wired to seek what they can't immediately understand, to be curious about what they can't easily label. And that curiosity, that hunger to know more, it's what makes you magnetic. Imagine a simple daily scene. A woman walks into a room carrying herself with quiet confidence. She doesn't flood the space with words about her past, her problems, or her plans. Instead, she smiles softly, listens more than she talks, and shares just enough to leave people wanting more. People notice her not because she shouts to be seen, but because she creates a space where they want to lean in, to discover her layers. That's the power of mystery. You don't have to say it all to be heard. You just have to be selectively present. Think about how this plays out in relationships. When you overshare your feelings, fears, and insecurities too early, you remove the element of discovery. He thinks he's already figured you out, and what's left to chase? But when you hold some cards close to your chest, when you don't immediately react to every message, when you don't reveal all your plans, when you guard your emotional world, you create an aura of depth and intrigue. That mystery triggers a natural desire to uncover you, to be the one who earns your trust and your heart. It's not about playing games. It's about honoring your own value and pace. Let's take a practical example. You're scrolling through social media and you notice someone who rarely posts, but when they do, their words hit deep. Their photos tell stories without captions. Their life feels like a novel you want to read. You're drawn to that energy because it feels rich, authentic, and yes, mysterious. Now imagine if that person posted every detail of their day, every emotion, every disagreement. They'd lose that magnetic pull. Mystery doesn't mean hiding your truth. It means revealing it on your terms, with intention. In your professional life, mystery can be your secret weapon too. The colleague who never spills all their ideas in one meeting, but drops just enough to spark curiosity, becomes someone others want to collaborate with. The entrepreneur who teases a new project, but holds the launch details close, creates anticipation and excitement. Mystery builds suspense, and suspense builds interest. When you control what you share, you control the narrative of your life. Consider the story of a woman who chose to stop sharing her every move with her partner after years of feeling unappreciated. She began living her life more privately, going to events alone, pursuing hobbies without broadcasting them, focusing on her growth silently. He noticed. Suddenly, she wasn't an open book anymore. She was a locked treasure chest. That shift changed the dynamic. He started wondering, questioning, trying to understand what made her tick. Mystery made her magnetic. She became not just desirable but fascinating. Mystery also protects your energy. When you guard your inner world, you prevent emotional exhaustion. You don't give away your peace by reacting to every slight or every question. You become the person who chooses what to share, when to share, and with whom to share. That control is power, and power is magnetic. In everyday life, mystery invites respect. When you don't overshare, people don't take your kindness or patience for granted. They see you as someone who values herself enough to set boundaries around what she reveals. And boundaries are not walls. They're invitations to come closer, slowly, carefully, with genuine intent, Mystery turns relationships into journeys of discovery, not a checklist of known facts. So, whether it's in love, friendship, or career, remember this. Being fully transparent all the time can dim your light, but embracing your mystery, that sacred space between what you reveal and what you hold back, makes you radiant, powerful, and magnetic beyond measure. It's the silent invitation that says, there is more to me than you see, and it's worth knowing. It shows emotional maturity when you choose silence over chaos, calm over conflict, and understanding over impulsiveness. Emotional maturity is not about suppressing feelings or pretending everything is perfect. It's about recognizing your emotions, accepting them, and responding with wisdom rather than reaction. When you silently cut someone off, especially in a difficult relationship or situation, you're demonstrating a deep level of self-awareness and strength that many never achieve. You're telling the world, I am in control of my emotions, not controlled by them. Think about everyday life. How often do we see people exploding in anger, sending hurtful messages, or begging for attention when things don't go their way? That's the opposite of emotional maturity. Emotional maturity is knowing that sometimes the best response is no response at all. It's the courage to walk away without burning bridges, to protect your peace without needing to explain yourself to anyone. It's a quiet power that says, I value myself enough to choose peace over drama. Instead of shouting or punishing impulsively, the parent listens, takes a breath, and chooses silence as a form of strength. The silence is not passive, it's intentional. It creates space for reflection, understanding, and growth. This patience and calm show emotional maturity. Recognizing that not every battle needs to be fought with words or anger. Sometimes the most powerful message is conveyed through silence. In romantic relationships, emotional maturity means knowing when to engage and when to step back. It's not about playing games or manipulating emotions. It's about respecting yourself enough to not tolerate disrespect and recognizing that sometimes distance is the healthiest form of communication. When you silently cut him off, you're not running away. You're showing you have the emotional intelligence to protect your heart, to heal, and to grow without creating unnecessary drama. You're saying, I will not lose myself trying to hold on to something that isn't healthy. Consider the workplace, where tensions can run high. An emotionally immature person might snap at a colleague, spread gossip, or react defensively to criticism. But an emotionally mature individual listens, processes the feedback calmly, and chooses their response wisely. Sometimes that response is silence, taking time to regroup and come back stronger, rather than reacting impulsively and damaging relationships. This ability to regulate emotions and act with intention builds trust, respect, and leadership. Think about your own life, moments, times when you felt hurt or betrayed. The instinct might be to lash out, to demand explanations, or to hold grudges. But emotional maturity is the realization that healing comes from within and that not every situation deserves your emotional energy. When you cut someone off silently, you give yourself the space to heal without getting dragged into toxic cycles. You show the world that your peace is more valuable than being right or winning an argument. Emotional maturity also means embracing vulnerability without losing your strength. It's okay to feel pain, disappointment, or sadness. But what matters is how you handle those feelings. Do you let them control you, or do you learn from them and become stronger? When you choose silence, you are not hiding your pain. You are honoring it by allowing yourself to process and grow. You are choosing to respond with grace instead of reaction. In friendships, emotional maturity shows when you don't chase those who don't value you. Instead of begging for attention or validation, you step back and focus on relationships that nourish your soul. You silently cut off those who drain your energy, not out of bitterness but out of self-respect. That choice reflects a mature understanding that your emotional well-being is your responsibility and you won't compromise it for anyone. Every time you choose silence over chaos, you demonstrate the highest form of emotional intelligence. You become the master of your feelings, the captain of your soul, and the author of your story. This maturity inspires others because it reflects strength, clarity, and an unwavering commitment to your own growth. It's a mindset that says, I am more than my emotions. I am the calm in the storm. You protect your mental health when you make the courageous decision to silently cut someone off, because mental peace is the foundation on which your entire life is built. It's easy to underestimate how much damage toxic relationships, constant conflict, or emotional turmoil can wreak on your mind. But every time you choose silence over noise, distance over chaos, you are actively preserving your sanity, your balance, and your inner calm. You are telling yourself, my peace is non-negotiable. Imagine waking up every morning, carrying the weight of endless arguments, accusations, or emotional roller coasters. Your mind feels cluttered, your heart heavy, and your energy drained before the day even begins. That's what happens when you don't protect your mental health. Now, picture instead waking up with a quiet mind, a sense of clarity, and the freedom to focus on your own goals and happiness. This shift happens the moment you choose to protect your space by stepping away silently, without the need to explain or justify. It's a revolutionary act of self-love. Think about a person stuck in a toxic friendship that constantly pulls them down, where conversations turn into blame games and support turns into criticism. When they finally decide to cut off that relationship silently, they're not being harsh, they're being kind to themselves. They're putting a boundary around their mental space, declaring that their mind deserves tranquility and not constant turmoil. It's like clearing out clutter from a room. You create space to breathe, to think, and to grow. In a work environment, mental health is often overlooked. Yet, toxic co-workers or a stressful boss can create a mental prison where anxiety and stress thrive. Someone who chooses to distance themselves quietly from such negativity is not running away. They are protecting their mental clarity and emotional resilience. They are choosing to nurture their mind like a garden, pulling out the weeds of negativity so the flowers of creativity and productivity can bloom. Think of the daily moments when your mind races with worries about relationships, work, or self-worth. If you allow toxic voices or harmful people to dominate your thoughts, it's like pouring gasoline on a fire. But when you silently cut off those sources, you reduce the noise and chaos inside. You give yourself permission to heal, to reset, and to find peace. It's a powerful reminder that mental health is a sacred space, worth guarding fiercely. Protecting your mental health also means understanding that it's okay to say no to emotional exhaustion. It's okay to walk away from conversations that hurt more than help, from people who drain rather than energize you. It's a form of self-respect that says, I refuse to let anyone or anything poison my mind. Every day you choose this path, you build resilience, strength, and a deeper connection with your true self. In families, the pressure to keep peace often forces people to stay in emotionally draining dynamics. But those who choose silence and distance wisely are creating mental sanctuaries where their well-being comes first. They are teaching others by example that protecting your mind is not selfish, it's essential, It's the kind of strength that inspires others to value their own mental health too. Consider the story of someone who endured emotional abuse for years, but finally found the courage to step away, silently, without confrontation. Their mental health began to heal, their anxiety lessened, and their confidence grew. They became a living testament to the fact that mental peace is more precious than any toxic connection. Their silent action spoke louder than any argument ever could. Every choice to protect your mental health, especially by silently cutting off what harms you, is an act of bravery. It says, I am worthy of peace, clarity, and joy. It reminds you that your mind is your most valuable asset, and you deserve to nurture it with kindness, boundaries, and love. This is not just self-care, it's self-preservation, self-respect, and self-empowerment rolled into one. In the grand theater of life, remember this. Your peace is the most priceless treasure you possess. It is the fortress where your soul finds refuge, the sanctuary where your dreams are nurtured, and the quiet power that fuels your journey. When you choose to silently cut someone off, you are not giving up or losing. You are reclaiming your life. You are stepping into a realm where your worth is recognized, your boundaries are honored, and your mental health is guarded fiercely. As the great Maya Angelou once said, you alone are enough. You have nothing to prove to anyone. This silence you embrace is your loudest statement, a declaration that you will no longer tolerate anything less than the respect and peace you deserve. Every successful person, every leader, every icon you admire has understood the power of protecting their energy. Oprah Winfrey, a symbol of resilience and grace, once reminded us, surround yourself only with people who are going to take you higher. To silently cut off what weighs you down is to elevate yourself to that higher ground. It is not weakness to walk away from chaos. It is courage. It is strength to protect your mental garden, to prune what no longer serves you, so new growth can flourish. Think of this as your personal renaissance, a rebirth fueled by the fire of self-respect and the wisdom of emotional intelligence. When you silence the noise of toxicity, you create space for clarity, for passion, for love that uplifts rather than diminishes. Remember, you are the artist of your own life. Don't hand the paintbrush to anyone else. Your mental health is the canvas. Keep it vibrant, keep it protected, and never allow anyone to splash dark colors on it without your consent. The path to greatness is never easy, but it is always worth it. When you choose silence, you wield a power few truly understand. The power of calm strength, the power of steady resolve. It is the kind of power that does not seek validation in loud declarations, but commands respect in quiet confidence. As Nelson Mandela said, I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. You are triumphing every time you protect your peace, every time you choose yourself over drama. To those who fear silence might be seen as weakness or retreat, remember this. Silence is the language of the wise, the song of the strong. It is where self-control meets self-love, where boundaries become bridges to your better self. The world may try to pull you into its chaos, but your silence is your shield, your sword, and your sanctuary. In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. Albert Einstein once told us, and in your silence lies the opportunity to rise, to heal, and to transform. You are not defined by those you leave behind, but by the power with which you rise after walking away. Your silent strength is a beacon for those still trapped in storms of confusion and hurt. It tells them there is a way out, a better way, the way of self-respect, mental clarity, and emotional freedom. What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny. Matters compared to what lies within us, Ralph Waldo Emerson said. And within you is a reservoir of resilience that no toxic force can drain. As you move forward, carry these words with you. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Take the moment and make it perfect. Every silent step you take away from what harms you is a step toward the life you deserve. A life filled with joy, peace, and boundless possibilities. So choose silence not as surrender, but as your most powerful weapon in the battle for your soul. Choose silence not as absence, but as presence. The presence of a woman who knows her worth and will not settle for less. Your mental health is your birthright. Your peace is your power. Your silence is your symphony. Play it loud in the quietest way and watch as the world changes around you. You are not just surviving, you are thriving, glowing, and growing. And that, dear listener, is the greatest victory of all.